In the early 19th century, Chile began fighting for their independence from Spain. Having seen the Spanish crown weaken in 1808 by a Napoleonic invasion, the Chileans sprang into action. On September 18, 1810, the Chileans started the War for Independence. This war had three major parties involved: the Spanish forces, the Chilean independence forces, and the Mapuche forces. The Mapuche had been an autonomous people throughout the entire colonial process and had involved themselves in this conflict as an autonomous people. The Mapuche role in the Chilean independence is crucial because they participated on both sides of the conflict. As Jesse Zarley discusses in his piece, Between Loft and the Liberators, the Mapuche leadership had split over who to support. Most Mapuche supported the Spanish, while others supported the Chileans. One very important and probably the most prominent rivalry between Mapuche leaders was a rivalry between Venancio Conhuepan and Francisco Mariliwan. Conhuepan was from the area at the heart of the Mapuche resistance to the Spanish, a resistance that held up for hundreds of years and never succumbed to Spanish colonial forces. Conhuepan was also from a wealthy Mapuche family. He aligned himself and his people with the Chilean patriots due to several factors. One of those factors was his close friendship with Bernardo O'Higgins, one of Chile's national heroes. Growing up, Conhuepan was familiar with the Spanish language, so he was able to communicate with the Chilean patriots. After he helped the Chileans achieve independence from the Spanish, he joined the Chilean military in 1818. In contrast to Conhuepan, there was Francisco Mariliwan. Mariliwan was educated by the Spanish, received a salary from the Spanish, and enlisted one of his sons in the Spanish army. Mariliwan also considered himself a Christian and was close friends with Franciscan missionaries. He aligned himself and his people with the Spanish in the Chilean War for Independence. He was very different from Conhuepan because of his leanings in the Chilean War for Independence as well as his upbringing. While Conhuepan grew up in a culture that did not think too highly of the Spanish, Mariliwan grew up benefiting from the Spanish control of the area. Early in the Chilean movement for independence, Mariliwan was looking to form alliances with the Spanish. After the Chileans achieved independence, Mariliwan sought peace with the Chileans. One of the reasons the Mapuche got involved is that Bernardo O'Higgins and Jose de San Martin chased the Spanish onto Mapuche lands in southern Chile. The Rio Biobío served as the boundary between the Spanish-Chilean territory and the Mapuche lands. Once the Spanish and Chilean forces crossed that boundary, the Mapuche got involved. During the War for Independence, the Mapuche served several roles. As William Bennett Stevenson recounts, one of those roles was as infantry in both the Chilean and Spanish armies. This included sacking towns, killing captives, taking livestock, and burning homes. His point of view as a foreigner is quite interesting. He seems to be just describing what he saw, because he mentions both the Spanish and Chileans involving themselves in these actions as well. Mariliwan even led attacks against the Chilean forces. William Stevenson also has an account of indigenous people being used in the decisive Chilean victory at the Battle of Chacabuco. His account does not specify which group of indigenous people was involved, but he does say that they were on the side of the Spanish. After the Chileans had declared independence, Conhuepan and Mariliwan were still very involved. After a short reign as Supreme Director of Chile, Bernardo O'Higgins was overthrown by Ramon Freire. In response to this, Conhuepan dictated a letter thanking the O'Higgins family for always treating the Mapuche as the same species. As Joanna Crow discusses in her piece, Trouble Negotiations, the Mapuche and the Chilean State, O'Higgins wanted to incorporate Mapuche lands into the new Chile. O'Higgins viewed the Mapuche as their own independent state, but wanted to cooperate with them to help drive out the Spanish. Freire supported military expeditions into the heart of Mapuche lands, which led to Mariliwan seeking peace between the Mapuche leaders and the new Chilean government. Even though the Mapuche were an independent, autonomous people, they got involved in the Chilean War for Independence. Their lands were invaded by the Spanish and Chileans during the war, and their leaderships were split in loyalty during the war, but they served a very important function both during and after the Chilean struggle for independence.